Service lies at the heart of true leadership, a timeless lesson that our beloved university strives to instill in every Tamashan. In today's episode of Beyond the Arch, let us uncover how the USC Faculty of Arts and Letters shape its students in becoming competent and successful leaders. I am your host, Ria Regaspi, and join me here as we unravel the story of a former Tamashan alumni who was renowned for her leadership during and after her stay in the university. It is with great honor that I introduce our esteemed guest for today, an alumna who graduated from the Faculty of Arts and Letters in 1974 with a bachelor's degree in economics. Currently, she is working as the head of finance in Palafox Associates, while also serving as the founding director and treasurer of Palafox Architecture Group Incorporated. A pleasant return to USC, Mrs. Wilma Villanueva Palafox. Good day po.
Yeah, good morning to you and to all the viewers.
So very very blooming in red. Yes, and hopefully you're having a great time here in USC once again. So how does it feel po to be back in USC after so many years?
Well, I was as I was telling the other people earlier, I was just here last December 12 for the Arts and Letters Christmas party, and I was able to go around the classrooms, and a good thing I was able to keep all my class cards. So I remembered all the classrooms that we had.
They're still the same.
Yeah, except for the economics. It's now the faculty rooms. It's used as faculty rooms, the 206 and the 204.
It's great that you remember the room numbers.
Yeah, because of the class cards. My classmates are even fascinated because I was able to keep all my receipts. Even that time, the tuition fee was just 229 pesos.
Really?
Yeah, and you could pay by installment without any interest.
It's actually really great that you really keep them very unknown. You keep all those things sentimental for you, of course, in your stay here in University of Santo Tomas. And speaking of arts and letters, in celebration of the Faculty of Arts and Letters 60th anniversary, how would you describe the spirit of the AP students both the time and during the time today?
It's kind of sad that there is lesser enthusiasm, unlike the schools of La Salle or Ateneo, for homecoming. Like there never was. So I spearheaded the one of 1974, which was held last year, February 24, 2024. But before that, I called my friend who belonged to class 1973, and he was able to also to organize their golden homecoming. And then the following year, I called somebody also from 1975, and they're having their homecoming in February 21. So I really thought, because when we had the high school golden reunion just before the lockdown, it was something that I looked back to, and then I thought maybe I could organize something for USC. So I called Dean Henry Tenedero, who is the Phillips Artlets Alumni Association president, and then he said, "Okay, go." So and then when I called for a meeting, 12 confirmed, but because there was inclement weather, only 5 came, and so those 5 became really the members of the steering committee. But by God's grace and help, we were able really to get through, and the attendance were about 120. Yeah, but it was a very gargantuan task, but of gathering, and it was really the first time that we saw, people, our batchmates from graduation.
For such a long time.
Yes.
The spirit's really great, and I commend you for spearheading such an event, because reunions are something that we look forward to, especially seeing our peers and of course our classmates from before. And hopefully, of course, because it's the 60th anniversary of AB, we get to see more of that in the culture of our Tomashans as well in other colleges. So if I were to ask you, are there any specific places that remind you of your college days?
But I would say the chapel.
Yeah.
Because when we used to live in Pasay City, I would pass by for my friend, but she belonged to the commerce. And that time the commute was very, very short. Like we were here at 10 to 7. So at first it started like just to kill time because the classes won't start until 8 o'clock. I attended the masses at 7 o'clock. So it became a habit. And then when I was majoring already in economics, where classes was at 1 p.m., I would go to the noon masses. Yeah. And, I think that's where I frequented. And before, there was what we call the co-op, which is between the high school building and the St. Raymond.
The JHS
Yeah,
building.
it was like a canteen, and that's where we all gathered. I mean, not only arts and letters, the whole
UST community.
and then we call it the co-op because it was run by the students' cooperative.
It's really great. Actually, a really common space for the Tomasians right now is a much needed space, of course, because I think the main space right now is Plaza Mayor. They sit there and reminisce the beauty of our building. But it's really good that we like to share and engage with other people, that we can go to our spare time to the chapel, pray, and of course, go with your friends, hang out with them, and catch up. As you've said, you go to your friend who's a commerce student.
Yes.
We have a lot of friends around the campus and in other colleges as well. And nangyayari din naman pala yun way before pa. So, nagbibisitahan pala kayo. Yeah. And that's really great po na meron palang ganon. Hindi ko po alam na meron palang co-op before. So,
there was.
Canteen siya. Right now, ano na po siya ngayon if you see it nowadays in the campus? Yung co-op building.
Yeah, there is a building now which is housed by the library and the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was explained to me earlier.
So yun po yun. Oh my gosh. Now we know, guys. And in order for us to learn more of Mrs. Palafox's fond memories here in USC, let's take a peek at our very own Tiger Trails.
These walls are testimony of history and art, building a foundation for critical thinking and creativity. Where you start isn't always where you finish, but every experience adds to your foundation. AB built me, and now I build for others.
You can truly feel the nostalgia of Mrs. Palafox's Tiger Trails. What a heartwarming experience to reminisce about the very foundation that built on you for today. But wait, we are just getting started. To further feel the nostalgia, we have prepared a game called Glass Memento. We've prepared a variety of questions and placed them in a glass bowl. Some questions are designed to test your true Tomasian spirit, while others aim to help us reminisce about our guests' memorable times here at USC. So, Mrs. Palafox must complete 5 questions to proceed. Without further ado, let's play! So, ayan po, bunot tayo ng questions right now. Alright. So, now, as an esteemed alumna of AB, how did being part of the Faculty of Arts and Letters shape your perspective on leadership and taking decision-making and throughout your career?
When I first started in Arts and Letters in 1970 to 71, we belonged to an honors class. It was 1A9, the section was 1A9. And it was a group of the top 45 entrants in the faculty. So it was an experimental class, but after that, nothing more followed. And that time, our advisor, Miss K, encouraged us to have a class paper which was called Traces. And the funny thing, my daughter was able to find it after all these years, maybe just about 2 months ago. And we brought out the writing skills, and it was parang since we belong to an honors class, it became like we were competing against each other. And we had really the best faculty who exacted from us really the best, the excellence, the power of excellence. And then I became a writer for Flame.
Oh, really?
Yes, and then actually the arts and letters editor, arts and culture editor. And then just before martial law, I ran for a secretary of the AB Student Council, which was held in February, and luckily I won. But with the declaration of martial law in September, it was just President Marcos at the time just sort of vanished everything. All student government, all student councils were just out. So, and then I was also a member of the Student Tourist Guide Bureau, which I think doesn't exist anymore. We would bring. There were many tourists who came to the university. They looked at the museum, and then we would bring them around also the college. It was a group of not only arts and letters students, but from other colleges, and it brought out the leadership, out in me, because when I was in high school, I think I was very shy, but but then college, it was already, and then the climate at that time was, the student activism was ongoing because the martial law was really on the offing, and everybody just had to, to do their thing, and it brought out maybe a good part of mine, which was not, maybe I say hidden. And after that, it went on, and then in my senior year, I was also chosen as one of the 5 most outstanding co-eds of the university. And by the way, in 1972, I was also Miss Arts and Letters.
Oh, wow. That's such a fun fact.
Yeah.
Actually, Miss Palafox, this is what we call BS org right now, as in the Tomasian culture, meaning you're in the Bachelor of Science of Organization. It means you're everywhere, from the Flame, and of course, pageant, Miss Arts and Letters. Wow, that's amazing. You've been through a lot of things right now, and that's really good because you're also a student leader, and it inspires a lot of our students right now who are actually running for council, because there's an ongoing election right now for other organizations. And it's inspiring for those student leaders as well that, of course, there's passion even before. And you mentioned a while ago the title traces of the paper that you've worked on. It's really great timing, So that's why let's proceed to our next question, because we're really getting to know more of Mrs. Palafox. All right. Fourth question. You're doing great with those facts of UST. All right, this is another fact from UST. So, name the 4 streets that surround the UST campus. And do you have any particular memories in one of these streets?
Okay. Fronting is Espana, and then what we call Governor Forbes, but it's now Lacson. And at the back is the Pitan. And then the other one is Padre Noval.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Not Pinoval, Padre Noval. Full on. So, what is the most memorable street for you?
Well, I think both Espana and the Pitan, because when we used to, coming from home, which was on Buendia and Taft, the jeepney would pass through Lawanglaan, and we would go through Lawanglaan and reach the Pitan, and then going home we would take the jeepney on the Pitan, the Pitan. But later on there were some buses that traversed from Espana up to Makati, so I would take that also. And Espana was also memorable for me because we would eat there. There's still a restaurant called Little Quiapo. In Quezon City, and there was a Little Quiapo there on Espana Street, and my classmates and I would go there really almost once a month. so the halo-halo and the camaron, rebasado, those were really the staples of Little Quiapo. Yeah, but not so much of Pinoval and Governor Forbes because I didn't know anyone who lived there or nice
I
restaurants
see.
there. Yes.
Everywhere you go in the streets, in the four streets or the four corners of USC, there's always food around. So it's definitely a staple for friends and classmates to go there after classes.
Yes.
And it's a great way to
yes.
hang out. That's why very sentimental din ako sa mga streets, the four streets.
Yeah.
I think we circle around it.
And beyond pala Dapitan, there was this street called Lawanglaan, and there was a Goldilocks there.
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
and everybody would just go to Goldilocks, and there was you could buy your pastries at the ground floor, and they had a restaurant on the second floor.
And now it's easier because Goldilocks is near España now.
Oh.
So, yes, they may go there, right?
Oh.
That's a great way of going with your classmates. So keep your passion alive, even, of course, in times of crisis like the lockdown. And hopefully that, of course, inspires our Tomasians. And thank you because we've got to know more about you. And thank you so much for participating in our game, Mrs. Palafox. We gained a lot of wonderful insights into the life of an AB alumna, and truly being an artlet holds such determination, passion, and the 3 C's of the university: competence, commitment, and compassion that can be seen not just here at USC, but also outside through the community. Celebrating and honoring our alma mater allows us to reconnect with the roots that shaped who we are today. This milestone is not only a proud achievement for the faculty or college, but also a milestone for each of us. Just like economic foundations drive sustainable growth, our time at the university was filled with lessons that became the foundation for our growth, success, and leads to meaningful contributions to the community. Once again, I am Ria Regaspi, and thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Arch, where memories are waiting to unfold and stories are longing to be told.